confirmed that another 139 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, taking the number of confirmed cases there to 1,384. She said one more person had also died from the virus, making the total number of deaths there now 41. Well, our correspondent Alexandra Mackenzie is in Glasgow for us and joins us live. Alexandra.
Well, yes, as you said, the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, she spoke earlier this afternoon, the first weekend of lockdown here in Scotland. She acknowledged that this has been a weekend like no other, but she also said that there will be many weekends like this. They're talking about possibly 13 weeks that there may be some restrictions in place. And she acknowledged that this is going to be extremely difficult, but she also said it's essential to save lives. Now, one of the other things she talked about the provision of personal protective equipment for hospitals, for social care and for GPs. And she wanted medics on the front line to know that they are available and they are being distributed.
An area of concern that has, I know, been expressed in recent days is around the provision of personal protective equipment for those on the front line of our health and care services. So I can confirm today some new steps to improve even further the supply of PPE for those who are working in front line. Over the past 4 to 6 weeks, around 34 million items of PPE have been delivered to hospitals across Scotland that are providing care for COVID-19 cases and other conditions. In addition, all health boards now have a single point of contact to manage local PPE supply and distribution, and that should help to ensure that the right equipment reaches the people who need it.
Now, one of the other things she talked about was the increased capacity for testing for COVID-19. At the moment, she said around 800 people a day are being tested in Scotland. They want to increase and plan to increase this to 3,000 a day. Now, that will initially be with key workers for the NHS. Anyone who is isolating at the moment, if they test negative for COVID-19, then they would be able to go back to work. One of the other things she talked about was the volunteering programme that's going to be launched this week. It's going to be called Scotland Cares, and that will be to take pressure off the NHS and others who might be able to help within the community. Now, Nicola Sturgeon did acknowledge that the death rate in Scotland is relatively low. Well, there was one further death in the last 24 hours, but she also said that no level of death is acceptable. And she said that the focus in the next few weeks will be to reduce the number of deaths, and her message remains the same to the people of Scotland: to stay at home.
Alexandra, thank you. Our correspondent Alexandra Mackenzie there. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked for his country's forgiveness after imposing a sweeping coronavirus lockdown that he said had hurt